morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Amit Gosalia coming to you live from London, England. I'm here all week talking to people about audiology. Now, I'm going to walk around. I want to find somebody here who knows something about audiology. Oh, look at this fine bloke right here. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful shirt you're wearing there, sir.
It's rather stylish, isn't it?
I'm walking around talking to people about audiology. Do you know anything about audiology?
Audiology. It sounds familiar, yeah. What would you like to know?
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, well, my name's Matthew Pearson. Been running audiology practices in London for around about 12 years, so sort of central, west, northwest, and sort of currently run my own practice called Zone 1 Hearings, and we're independent, so we offer a whole range of products from the top manufacturers. We also do wax removal, which is kind of very common for the audiology profession these days, and we offer both the home visit service as well as having a place in central, northwest, and very, very northwest London. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Fantastic. Tell us about, are there numerous audiology organizations here in the UK?
Okay, so you've got the British Society of Hearing Aid Audiologists, which you're going to find most of the private guys are linked up with, and they run really good sort of classes, etc., and they do sort of learnings online. So yeah, great time to like network with people, to see about new products, etc. So yeah, I recently joined with them in the last few years, or recently started going to their events. But yeah, very good. And then the British Academy of Audiology seems to be more centred on the National Health Service guys. However, they do now seem to work collaboratively, which is pretty good. So used to be a member of them, but just felt that was more for the sort of the National Health Service, which the National Health Service, for anyone who doesn't know, is where patients can get hearing aids for free. So the whole patient journey, the testing, the hearing aids are all for free, but you tend to get hearing aids which are a couple of generations old, and you wouldn't get any choice on which make or model or the size of the aid. So it would tend to be like a BTE rather than a RIC or a thin tube. You wouldn't get anything custom, but where else in the world can you go along and, irrespective of budget, get a free hearing aid? So that's a pretty cool service. We're pretty happy that we've got that in the UK, but we do often find, and it's often a few weeks after being fitted, a lot of patients will then, I suppose, having the misconception that digital means tiny, will go and investigate with the private sector what options are available to them, be it sort of the smaller RIC products, or just the very fact they've been given the hearing aids, maybe not been given a lot of information about the rehabilitation process, how to take care of them, and just feel they need a little bit more hand-holding. So those are, I guess, your two main sectors, the private and the National Health Service.
Got it. We're going to scoot forward here. The car's about to come hit us.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about your biggest threats, or what are the biggest threats you see to the profession?
Well, not to the profession as such, but speaking from a private guy, imagine if you owned a shop selling, I don't know, groceries for people, but next door you had another shop and they give all their product away for free. Maybe not quite as good as yours, but hey, free's pretty cool. So for us, the biggest provider sells the product that nobody wants to buy for more money than they want to pay for it, for a problem they don't want to admit to, for free. And they're told often by their doctors, these are the best hearing aids you can buy. Private money can't buy better, so you go with these. And then when they're not successful, of course, that's maybe, if you like, spoiled them a little bit. They maybe don't want to try the private sector because they've been fed this information that this is maybe as good as it gets. So sometimes it's then up to us to sort of show them that maybe that isn't the case. But that's one of the threats, the biggest competitor giving the product for free.
And we've never seen that in the US.
Now, the other thing with these guys is, where have I got to? Yeah, so the biggest competitor giving the product away for free. The other thing, I guess, is what's happened. The internet's really opened things up. So, a few years ago, one of the big box retailers in the UK started to publish the prices, and this was really unheard of. But what that's done, it's really driven prices down. So you can get a top-of-the-line pair of hearing aids from some providers for change out of £3,000, including all the aftercare. Or when you sometimes look at what you're paying, by the time you figured out you've bought the hearing aids, the margin's gone. So competing with the big box stores can be very challenging, because I guess, same as in the US, we've commoditized it. We talk very much about product, and pretty much everyone in the UK bundles their service. So people will often at the end say, what do I owe you for that? So now it's included, and they go, oh wow, so we've sold it, but have we sold it well enough? So the second time, they're probably going to be far more happy to sort of part with their hard-earned cash because they've experienced the 6-month checks, maybe the wax removals, the ear exams, referrals to their doctor, and the adjustments, the retesting, the reprogramming, but it's getting them there initially to go through that process and to enjoy that service. So, you know, the whole price awareness now, the commoditization, the fact that obviously prices seem to be creeping up from the manufacturer, but margins being squeezed down by price-conscious consumers, while all the other costs like rent, etc., have all been sort of skyrocketing. So, you know, financial. So maybe that means the cream will be left, but yeah, no, it's a kind of challenging time. But the private sector is growing, and we've got some great, you know, the best products we've ever had. Things like the internet and YouTube are a great leveler, so you can have someone who's got a multi-million-pound budget or no budget, and they've got the same access to those technologies. So yeah, exciting time to be around, I guess.
So on that same line of topics, where do you see audiology in the UK in the next, let's say, 5 years?
Well, in the next 5 years, more and more of our patients themselves, not just their significant others, you know, be it younger relatives, will be searching online for our services. So if you're not in that space, you're not going to be around. You have to be in that space. Will people be self-fitting? Yeah, probably, because, you know, 20 odd years ago we didn't have digital. So let's think where things are going logically. Will people be testing and fitting? All right, not as accurately as we can in the profession, maybe not able to spot referable conditions, but if they can get some help, I think sometimes we think from the perspective, I want to give this person the ultimate hearing, but maybe they just want to hear a bit better. And sometimes I think we don't hear that. People want to hear a bit better. So I think some people will self-fit, but I also think there's always going to be those, I don't say need is the right word, but older patients who appreciate the hand-holding, the walking through the process, just the relationship they develop with their audiologist. So I think some things will not change, we just need to become better and better at doing that, and some things will change. So I'm hoping there's space in the marketplace for everybody, but I see that some of it will go off in the direction of self-fit, maybe some over-the-counter things, but also I think the private sector, this is one area I did neglect to mention. The doctors in the UK now, through the NHS, are not allowed to remove wax. They're not insured as of April. So guess what? If you're a cerumenologist, I think it's the new term for wax removal specialist in the UK, you're probably going to find yourself super busy at the moment. So the choice might be, do I focus on that, which some people are doing now, maybe doing 10, 15 wax removals a day, and maybe sell the odd hearing aid here and there, and treat that as the core business, or do you fit hearing aids and just maybe do that when it prevents you doing a test? And I guess there's no reason why we can't bring in people who just have that role within the industry. I mean, I'm mentoring a young lady now who's going to set up her own business, and that's the role she's going to do with us when we get busy. She's going to do the wax removals for us. So that time where people maybe have that negative conversation with the NHS where they say, no, you don't want to go into the private sector, we've now removed your wax, let's send you on to the audiology department, and this is the best hearing instrument money can buy. We can now stop that conversation. We can have the whole journey, you know, in the private sector with us. And actually that extra skill, I think people always expected us to do it, but we always referred. And now we've come to think of it, why weren't we doing it? But we are now. We've got a range of different ways. So with an operating microscope, an endoscope, loops, you know, irrigation. So there's a whole range of ways and new products that help him break the wax down. So I think that's one way it's developing. We're becoming more multi-skilled, more balanced clinics, more things of that nature, more comprehensive tests. So I think that way we can help separate what we do from the big box stores. Not so much the NHS, because they're good at all those areas, but maybe just have inferior products and very limited with time. And you may have heard they're now doing less operations. The one that really struck me when I read it yesterday, they're not doing glue ear operations anymore. So relationships with ENT specialists are going to be very key. Now what they're being told is don't maybe fit a hearing aid until there's a certain degree of loss. So people are delaying. Could that lead to more cognitive decline? If we focus on that as a message, early intervention is very positive. So some of your big box stores are very good at testing people from 18 onwards and doing that every couple of years. So we've got them to thank for some of the awareness in the marketplace now. But you know, thinking about the long game, let's start introducing to these younger patients who maybe don't have the stigma about the hearing older patients do with the loss, who run a mile when you offer a test, but to be thinking, who am I going to be seeing in 20, 30, 40 years' time? Maybe I can start with noise protection, in-ear monitors, and then naturally they'll come to us as their audiology professionals later on down the line when they do actually need a hearing aid.
Fantastic.
Okay.
You are a gentleman and a scholar.
Absolutely.
And I must say,
thank you, sir,
that your British accent is not as good as mine.
No, well, I've not had as much practice, obviously.
And thank you so much from, whoops,
Oh, yeah. Authentic.
Zone 1 Hearing.
Yeah, nearly new.
Thanks for ordering the shirt and wearing it today.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, fits
Thank
like
you.
a glove.
That's Matthew Pearson from Zone 1 Hearing in London.